Hello everyone, this is Joel with Fortress Canine and Canine Academy coming back at you again with another expert counsel segment. And today's question is from Brandon. And Brandon has about a 6-month-old puppy and he's doing okay in his training, but he's been pawing at them a lot. And if you know anything about puppies, they have sharp little claws on their paws. And when they do that, they can kind of scratch your hands and arms up. It also gets pretty annoying. And what they don't want is the dog to get fully grown and to be pawing and scratching at them, trying to get their attention and stuff like that. So this is a pretty common problem to have with a puppy. And what we use to correct this behavior is a command called off. Now, typically what happens in these situations is the dog will paw at you at kind of repetitious times, right? They want your attention, or you just got home from work, or you just came in from outside, or whenever you're doing various different things, maybe you just lean over and they're on the ground, and whenever you lean over towards them, they jump up and start kind of pawing at your arms. And like I'm working puppies right now, I've got scabs and scratches all over my hands from little puppies doing this. And depending on how you're training and what you want to do in the future, you may want to stop this behavior earlier, or you may want to wait and get it, let some other things happen first before I worry about this behavior, because maybe I want my dogs to use their paws or to bite or things like that, and I don't want to discourage that too early. But for most people, you want to get rid of this type of behavior pretty quickly. So, because this is usually happening in a situation where it's pretty repetitious, you can anticipate when it's going to happen. What I want to do is start using the off command. Now, I'm going to need some way to correct this dog. Okay, I can correct them with a prong collar. I can correct them by kind of swatting at their snout. I don't really encourage that. I don't like actually using your hands to swat at the dog. It creates some other behaviors that can be problematic, but that's an option. You can use an e-collar. You can also just use a very chastising verbal tone and maybe a pop on a flat collar, so just their normal collar they're wearing, just a pop on the lead with a very chastising verbal tone. Depending on your dog's mannerisms and behavior, any of these might work. You have to figure out which one is going to be enough of a correction that it gets the behavior to stop, right? So I have to have some way to correct the dog in these situations. And then before I do a behavior that I know typically is going to create this problem, I'm going to tell the dog off. And so when I go out to feed my dogs, they're often very excited. They're jumping up and they like to put their paws on us, right? So before I walk into their area, I tell them off. And then I step into their area. Now, if they jump up and put their paws on me, there's a couple things I can do. If this is a jumping up issue, I will use my knee and I will bump them in the chest when they're up on their hind legs, right? I will bump them in their chest. This oftentimes knocks them over, which is fine. And I tell them, phooey that, off, or whatever your verbal correction is. No, off. Right? Whatever your verbal correction is, phooey or no or whatever, whatever your verbal correction you use with your dog, you do that, and then you reinforce the command, off. Now, here's the key. When they don't jump up, right, because you might have to do this 2 or 3 times. They jump up, off. They jump up, phooey it, off. They jump up, phooey it, off. And each time I'm getting a little harder with my corrections, and then they come running up to me, still all excited, but they keep their paws on the ground. Right? And they're all excited, so their paws are kind of moving, but they're on the ground, and they're like, I really want you to pet me, but I'm not going to put my paws up. That's the moment that I need to praise the dog. I need to let them know, yes, that's what I want you to do. So when they keep their paws on the ground, and I praise them, oh, good off, and I give them some pets on the head, and I let them know they're doing a good job. Now, sometimes when you're doing this, because it's a habit for them, right, they'll start to bring their paws up. So as soon as that happens, I take my hands away. And usually I put my hands up where they can't reach me, phooey it off. They put their paws back on the ground, good off. They put a paw on me, phooey that. So when you're praising, sometimes the excitement of the praise will cause them to use their paw again. As soon as that happens, hands come off the dog, verbal correction, wait for them to stop using their paws, and then come back and pet them again. Now, if I do this 2 or 3 times and they keep using their paws, then I'm going to correct again. So for us, we typically use prong collars. I'm going to grab the lead that I have that's on the collar. I'm going to pop them. I'm going to say, phooey that, off. And then they'll be a little bit in shock, and they'll be like, oh, okay. And then I'll pet them again. Oh, good off, good off. So I want them to know I'm happy with them when they're not putting their paws on me, and I want to correct them when they do put their paws on me. But most people make the error of waiting until the paws are up there and then trying to do something about it, right? So when I know my dog is having this issue and I walk in and I go off, and they don't jump on me, I'm gonna go good off, and I'm gonna give them a little pat on the head. I'm not gonna get too excited typically because I don't wanna create a problem when there wasn't one, but I want them to know, good job, you did great, good off, good off. Maybe I'm putting their food down for them, or maybe I wanna come down and pet them. Maybe I'm trying to put a lead on them to take them outside. Lots of different things we could be doing when we get close to the dog and they start to get excited. It's not unusual for a young dog to get excited when you get down close to them, but we need to make sure that the behaviors that they're doing match what we accept, right? So I don't want them mouthing at me and putting their mouth all over my hands or my arms. I don't want them biting at my clothes unless I'm going to be doing a protection dog, and then I do want them biting at my clothes until I tell them to stop. I don't want them scratching me with their little paws. So anytime they start to do those behaviors, I tell them off or leave it. You could also use leave it in these situations. Leave it is more in our vocabulary for biting when they're not supposed to. Off is for bringing their paws up when they're not supposed to. Off means put your paws on the ground, stay on the ground, don't get up on me, get off of me, right? And so that's how we treat that situation. That's how we take care of it. If you have a specific detail or a specific thing that they're doing that you're having a problem with, or how do I do the specific behavior in this situation, you can send that message to me. You could text me 813-836-9244, or you could email me fortresscanine@gmail.com and let me know, and I'll do another video for you to address a specific situation. But in general, that's how we handle any kind of biting or pawing at us when we're training our puppies. So I hope that's been helpful for you. If you want a lot more information on how we train our dogs, and if you want to train your dog the way we train ours, you can check out Canine Academy by going to The Survival Podcast and click on the Canine Academy banner so that Jack gets credit for it there. We have the basics course, which is just your basic obedience commands. We have an intermediate course, which builds your bond, gives your dog a lot more capabilities, and sets them up for advanced training if you want to go there later on. And we have our advanced training, which covers everything from tracking to off-lead obedience, and it even gets a little bit into some protection work, although we don't teach you how to do bite work in that particular video. So you can check that out at Canine Academy. And if you're interested in getting a fully trained dog or a working line puppy, check out fortresscanine.com. You can also text me at that number I just gave you. You can click on the consult form on the website and we will reach back out to you. Until next time, remember to train hard and stay safe.